Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Madden Gaming and I am back with another reaction video. And today's we got some more Madden 24 updates for you guys. This one we got top 15 players to trade for in Madden 24 franchise. Ooh. Alright, give us a little pointers and tips and tricks. I like this. I like this a lot, especially for franchise mode. That's one of my personal favorite things to play. I'm not too big into trades and stuff, but we'll see this year if I get more into the trades and things like that. But before I hop into this reaction, I need you guys to like this video right now. Subscribe to your boy if you want more reactions just like this one. And without further ado, just jump right into it. Oh, also guys, I'm gonna hold my thoughts and comments for after this video. I'm just gonna let this video played all the way through, so let's get into it.
One of the most important things in Madden's franchise mode is acquiring talented players, and there's plenty of under the radar players or young players that you can acquire very cheap that have really good attributes in certain areas that tend to dominate in Madden. So in this video I'm going to go over the top 15 players you should be trading for in Madden 24's franchise mode. The first guy we got to talk about is Tariq Woolen. Now he is an 83 overall, and he's going to be the highest player we talk about in this video. Everybody else is going to be in the 70s, but Tariq Woolen is just a special case because of some of the physical attributes and measurables that he has. Now he's very underrated coming into this game. A lot of people feel like he should have been rated in the higher 80s, but this is good for you in franchise mode because you should be able to trade for him pretty easily, and he will have the day one starter tag, but you can still acquire a guy like this for like a first round pick and a low 70s backup player, or a second round pick and like a higher 70s player. But it's worth it for a guy like Tariq Woolen because he has stuff that you just can't teach. He's a 90 speed cornerback who is 6'4". Speed and height are the two most important things for a cornerback in Madden, because even if he does get beat by a step, his speed and his height is going to allow him to catch up, or it's going to allow him to swat the ball from a much wider radius than most other cornerbacks in the game. And even if you got to give up a first round pick to get this guy, you can draft for years in Madden's franchise mode, and you'll probably never find a guy that's 98 speed and 6'4" at cornerback. It's very rare. Then on top of that, he has 95 jumping, so there's pretty much no ball that he's not going to be able to get to. Even if you think you have him beat, he's going to be able to get up there and knock the ball down or even intercept it. And especially if you're going to click on and play with him once the ball's in the air, you're going to be able to make very easy plays with this guy. Now his man coverage is pretty weak, but this is what I would say that you want to try to upgrade with him after you trade him. His zone is an 85, which is already solid. He can be a 90 zone player in like one season, and if you can get his man coverage up to like the low 80s, he's gonna be absolutely dominant just because of his speed, height, and jumping. You don't need his coverage ratings to be all 99s when he has all of those other attributes. The second guy on this list I want to talk about is another young cornerback, Farley. Now, he's not going to be as dominant as Tariq Woolen, but he's also going to be a lot easier to trade for. Now, he is a 74 overall, but he has 95 speed, 95 excel, which again, for a cornerback, this is elite top end speed. You don't have many cornerbacks in the game that are 95 plus speed. Tariq Woolen is just a super unicorn, but Farley is not far behind. This is still fast enough and tall enough to where, once again, it's going to be hard to beat him over the top because he's going to have a good wingspan to get up and swat the ball, and he's going to have good makeup speed. He's also got 91 jump, again, not as good as Tariq Woolen, but this is kind of like the great value Tariq Woolen, if you will. 90 plus jump is still very good. The third player we're going to talk about is also a Titans player. It's Malik Willis, a 66 overall quarterback. Now you're probably asking, why would you want a 66 overall quarterback? Well, there's two very good reasons for that. He has two things that you can't teach and two things that are very hard to upgrade. He's got 90 speed, which makes him one of the fastest QBs in the game, and he's got 94 throw power, which means he has one of the strongest arms in the game. There's not many deep throws that he can't make, and these are two things for a quarterback that are very hard to get upgrades on with the XP. However, when you look at his accuracies, they're not really that bad for a guy that's 66 overall, and these are the things that you can upgrade a lot easier through the XP upgrades throughout the season. He has 77 short, 71 medium, and 76 deep. This is not that bad. Again, after a couple seasons, you can get this into the 80s, and when you have a guy with a strong arm and super fast speed, you're gonna still be able to dominate with him as a user. Yes, if you were simming your franchise, you probably wouldn't want Malik Willis, but if you're going to be the user, having that speed and throw power, you're going to be okay, because as most of you probably know, accuracy ratings in Madden don't really have that much of a negative to them. When you have lower accuracies, yes, you're going to miss some throws, but you're not going to miss throws at a clip that's going to really damage you. As long as you have your feet set when you're making throws, or if you're throwing on the run and you're not under pressure, more times than not, your passes are still going to be accurate, even if your accuracy ratings are in the 70s. Now, hey, if you're still here at this point of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, you might as well go ahead and subscribe, because you're pretty much already a part of the family anyway, whether you like it or not. Now, I'm going to be dropping tips like this all year to help you out on the game and in your franchise mode, so you don't want to miss out on them. I'm trying to hit 1 million subscribers one day. I definitely need your help, and it would be greatly appreciated. The fourth guy I'm going to talk about here is Quez Watkins, and it's pretty obvious why. He's a 97 speed receiver, not super tall. He's 6 foot, so he's also not super short, but you're getting him for the blazing speed. There's not many receivers in the game that are 97 plus, and his receiving ratings aren't horrible either for a young player. This is a guy that you can easily upgrade. He's got 78 spec catch, 78 catch in traffic, 76 short route run, 75 medium route run, 77 deep route run. You can get him up into the 80s in all of these after a season or two, and the 97 speed is going to be the thing that is really make or break for this player anyway. And he can be acquired very easily as well. I was able to give up a low 70s backup player at a position of need for the Eagles and like a 3rd round pick, and now I have one of the fastest receivers in the league that I can easily upgrade and turn him into a star player. The 5th player I'm going to talk about is Christian Watson, another fast receiver. He's going to be a little harder to trade for because he's slightly higher overall, and I think he does have the day 1 starter tag, so that does make it a little more difficult, but not too difficult. Now, this guy is 6'3", 96 speed, so again, 2 things you can't teach and you can't really upgrade. One of the fastest receivers in the game, one of the tallest, so he's also going to do you well in the red zone and on those jump balls. And his receiving ratings are really good. 83 spec catch, 85 catch in traffic, 76 short route, 79 medium route, and 81 deep route. So again, after a season or two, you can kind of turn this guy into a stud. And to get a guy of this caliber, you might have to give up about 2 low 70s backup players and like a 3rd or 4th round pick. That'll get it done for Christian Watson. Again, you're giving up maybe 2 players that the Packers would need, but you don't need on your team, and you're giving up a 3rd or 4th rounder, which isn't that big of a deal, and you're bringing in a guy that you can turn into a stud receiver. The 6th guy on the list is Lewis Cine. This is another fast guy on defense, 92 speed, which is very, very fast for a safety. You don't really see safeties too much faster than this. You usually see maybe 93, 94 at the fastest, so he's top end speed for a safety. He's also 6'2", which is good. Anytime you can get 6'1" or higher for a defensive back, you're going to do a lot better with them because they're going to be able to go up and swat more passes. And this year, it seems like they've made the CPU players able to swat better than they did in years past, so that makes these taller players even better than before. He's got 94 acceleration as well. He's got 74 tackling, which isn't horrible. You can upgrade that. He's got 64 man and 72 zone. Not amazing, but you can get that zone into the 80s with a little bit of work. And also, if it's a guy that you want to just user over center field, then the coverage doesn't matter because you'll be using him anyway. And he also has 89 hit power, which is one of the higher hit power ratings for a free safety. So this guy can hit hard, he can tackle pretty well, he can move fast, he can jump. He's got everything you would want. Now, to trade for a guy like this, you might have to give up a low 70s backup player at a position of need for the Vikings and maybe a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and that can get it done, and you can have a dynamic safety on your hands.
Gearing up for college? Don't stress. Get the money you need for the entire
Number 7, let's give love to the tight ends, and there's no better tight end to trade for, in my opinion, than Noah Fant. He's still pretty young, but he's a 78 overall, which isn't bad, but he's 88 speed, which makes him one of the fastest tight ends in the game, and he also has 92 acceleration. This guy can fly, and for tight ends, that's the most important attribute is speed, because you can put a tight end on a drag, and he'll outrun most of the linebackers or safeties that'll be covering him, and then once you catch with him, you can get good yak because of the speed that he has. You don't need to worry as much about the route running ratings. As long as they're fast, they're going to get it done. And the thing with Noah Fant is he has the trade target tag, which actually makes it a little bit easier to trade for him. I was able to trade 2 low 70s overall backup players at positions of need for the Seahawks and get Noah Fant. So 2 players that I wouldn't be using for a guy that I can make one of my best weapons on my team. Number 8, we're going back to the cornerbacks and we're looking at Greedy Williams, another young cornerback who hasn't quite panned out yet, but he still has some of the things that you just can't teach. He's 6'2", 93 speed, 92 excel. So for a corner, he's still at that top end speed. It's going to be hard to burn him. He's going to have good wingspan, be able to get up and knock the ball down. He's got 72 catching, which means if he gets his hands on the ball, it's gonna be an interception. He's got 86 jumping, which is really solid, and he's got 73 man and 74 zone, which is also not that bad. You can get both of these into the 80s pretty quickly, and when you have a guy that's fast and tall, once you're in the 80s for coverage stats, you're gonna be all right. This is a guy that is like really a diamond in the rough that you can easily make a top player on your defense. And Greedy Williams also has the trade target tag, which makes him pretty easy to trade for. You can get him for a low 70s backup player and like a 5th round pick. Number 9, Troy Anderson. He's a 66 overall, but don't let that fool you. This guy is special. He's a middle linebacker that's 6'4", 92 speed, 94 excel. One of the fastest linebackers in the game and one of the tallest. He's also got 67 catch, which is solid for a linebacker. He's got 77 tackle, which is okay. 86 jump, which is very good, especially at that 6'4" height. He's got 85 change of direction, which is really high for a middle linebacker as well. And he's even got 84 hit power, which is pretty solid. What do you want to do with this guy? You want to make him your user defender. With good height, blazing speed, good hit power, and good change of direction, this is a guy that you roam the field with to try to intercept passes. And at 66 overall, you can get him for basically nothing. There's no reason not to put him on your team unless you just already have a stud user linebacker or safety already. At number 10, we're going to start looking at some rookies, and of course, we got to mention Anthony Richardson. Now, typically, I don't want to talk about any of the high rookies, like the top 10 picked guys, because they're going to be a little harder to trade for. They're going to be day one starters, future starters, or in Anthony Richardson case, he might even have the franchise QB label. We don't know for sure yet, but he's an exception because he is a rare breed. He is 91 speed, 92 excel. He's got 95 throw power, making him one of the strongest arms in the game. He's got 78 break tackle, 78 trucking. This is just a guy that you can't really find in drafts too often. With that type of speed and that type of arm, similar to Malik Willis, who we talked about earlier, this is a guy that if you're user controlling him, you can turn him into a beast. And his accuracies aren't that bad to start off. 76 short, 75 medium, and 76 deep. At number 11, we got Deonte Banks, a cornerback that has 94 speed and 97 excel, and he's 6'1", which means he kind of just hits that threshold for being considered a tall corner. Much like the other corners we've talked about on this list, when you have good height and you have good speed, you're gonna be pretty good in Madden, and all you have to do is worry about getting those coverage ratings up. He's also got 96 jump, which is at the top end of jump for cornerback, so this guy's gonna be able to get up and get his hands on the ball. Number 12, DJ Turner. Look at that, another fast cornerback. It just is what it is. When you get top end speed corners, you want to get them on your team. They're hard to find. Now, he is 5'11", that's really the only knock on him, but at 97 speed, 98 excel, it makes up for that because he is one of the fastest corners in the game, right behind Tariq Woolen. And he's also got 91 jump, so that does help his height out a little bit. He's also got 93 change of direction, which is very high for a cornerback as well. Obviously, you're not going to be trading for all these cornerbacks, but I want to give you different options because a few of these guys you can acquire very easily. At number 13, we've got Trenton Simpson, a 6'2" linebacker with 91 speed, 95 excel. This is another guy that you're going to want to use her. He's also got 94 jump, which is amazing. He's got 68 zone coverage, which actually is not bad for a linebacker. You can get that upgraded pretty easily. And he's got 89 hit power, so he's going to be able to force those fumbles. This isn't one of my favorite ones on the list, but he definitely is a guy that has some of these measurables that's harder to find, so definitely a guy that you might want to consider. Number 14, Nolan Smith. Now, luckily, he fell in the draft because this actually helps us out in franchise because he's only coming in at a 73 overall, which means he's not going to be that hard to trade for. This guy has 93 speed and 95 excel. That is blazing fast. And he's also 6'2". So this is another guy you can use her, but he also is a guy that you can try to upgrade as a pass rusher as well. He's kind of more of a dual threat guy, which is what I really love about him. He's got 95 jump, which again is phenomenal. One of the best in the game for a guy that's already fast and already tall. He's got 81 change of direction, which for a linebacker is solid. He's got 71 finesse moves, so what I would try to do is build up his finesse. I would user him and try to slowly build up his finesse and his block shed a little bit. And then you got a guy that's like, you can almost make like the next Micah Parsons in a way. You can use him in coverage and you can use him as a pass rusher, and you could turn him into an absolute stud.
I picked the software engineering program because they pay very well. It's a fast-paced industry. The boot camp allowed me.
At number 15, we've got Devon Achane, and stick around because I'm also going to have kind of an honorable mention that I want to throw in there as well. But Devon A-Chain comes in at 95 speed, 94 excel. He is the fastest running back in the game. He's tied with Raheem Mostert, who's also on the Dolphins. So that should actually make him even easier to trade for because the Dolphins already have a running back over him on the depth chart, and he is a guy that can easily change your team. You're going to be using the running back. So the most important thing for a running back always and forever is going to be speed, much like most of the other positions in the game. So having this is going to allow you to break away crazy runs time and time again. He's also got 65 catching, which means you can use him in the pass game as well. And another thing that's underrated is his 92 carrying for a rookie. A guy that's that fast and you're not going to have to worry about him fumbling. That is a guy that you want to get on your team, and it shouldn't take too much. He's got 90 change of direction, which means he can change directions really well. He's going to be elusive, which is what you want. He's got 82 juke move, which is solid. So if you upgrade a few of these, he can become a star running back for you in a couple of years. Now, for my honorable mention, I want to talk about Isaiah Simmons. I didn't really want to put him in the top 15 because I feel like everybody just trades for him anyway. He's probably the most traded for player in Madden franchises, at least that I would know, because he's a unicorn, but I still wanted to include him for those that might just not be hip. He's a safety that's 6'4". He's 93 speed, 92 excel. He's a guy that a lot of people thought would be a superstar by now, but he hasn't quite turned into that yet, and he's going to be pretty easy to trade for. He's a guy that you definitely want to use her, but he's so versatile. He's got 74 catch, which means if you get your hands on the ball, he's not going to drop it. He's got 93 jumping, which is great. 85 change of direction, which is solid. And he even has 71 man, 75 zone, which you can easily upgrade over time. And on top of that, he's got 85 hit power, which is pretty good. But the thing I love the most about Isaiah Simmons is just how versatile he is. You can keep him at safety and user him there, or let the computer roam with him. You can sub him in at the linebacker spot in nickel formations and user him as a linebacker. You can change his position to cornerback if you want to just have a big, tall corner who can tackle and can hit, and he'll still be a high 70s cornerback. Or you can even change him just to a linebacker full-time as well, and he'll be a high 70s linebacker that you can user or roam with. He's super versatile, and he's actually pretty easy to acquire. I was able to get him by giving up a 3rd round pick and 2 4th round picks, and for a guy like this that's an instant stud in the hands of a user player, it's easily worth giving that up for him.
That right there, it was a study guide and he just gave you the answers. It's like he was doing a study guide right there. I'm not gonna lie to you, what I took away from this, you gotta have speed. Hey, cornerbacks is the way to go. Speed kills. I mean, it does. And he had a couple of quarterbacks up there like Malik, the dude from the Colts. So I think this is a solid list in my opinion, especially if you like a real, like if you really want to change the franchise around. These are all players that can significantly upgrade your roster from day one, in my opinion. Let me know what you would change in this one right here, or what you would add. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. Love racing one, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.